There was a moment in your life when you were taught that explaining yourself was a sign of maturity. That if people misunderstood you, it was your responsibility to clarify. If they doubted you, you had to defend yourself. If they questioned you, you had to justify your choices. And that is where your power started leaking. Every time you over-explain, you are not giving clarity, you are asking for permission. Strong people don't rush to defend themselves. They don't panic when misunderstood. They don't feel the need to correct every false assumption because they understand something most people don't. The more you explain, the smaller you look. When you explain your boundaries, people look for cracks. When you explain your decisions, people look for weaknesses. And slowly, without realizing it, you train the world to question you. Why do you feel the urge to explain? Because you want to be understood. Because you want to be seen as good. Because you fear being judged. That fear is leverage. The moment someone knows you are uncomfortable being misunderstood, they gain control over you. They can accuse you just to watch you scramble. They can question you just to see you defend. They can doubt you just to make you prove. And now you are reacting, not choosing. Power is not loud. Power is selective. When someone challenges a decision you've already made, silence is strength. When someone tries to pull you into unnecessary debate, calm detachment is dominance. When someone misunderstands you on purpose, walking away is control. Not every accusation deserves an answer. Not every misunderstanding deserves correction. Not every opinion deserves your energy. You think explaining shows honesty. Sometimes it shows insecurity. You think defending yourself shows confidence. Sometimes it shows fear of rejection. You think clarifying everything makes you transparent. Sometimes it makes you predictable. And predictable people are controllable. Look at people who carry real authority. They don't argue endlessly. They don't write paragraphs to defend their decisions. They don't beg to be understood. They decide and they move. If someone disagrees, they let them disagree. If someone leaves, they let them leave. If someone misjudges them, they let time expose the truth. That's emotional discipline. Over-explaining is often disguised approval-seeking. You want the other person to say, "Oh, now I understand." You want them to validate your reasoning. But why does their validation matter so much? If you are certain about your path, explanation becomes optional. Here's the brutal truth. The world doesn't respect people who constantly justify themselves. It respects people who are comfortable being misunderstood, because that comfort signals internal certainty. When you stop explaining, something interesting happens. People start thinking more carefully before questioning you. They become unsure of how far they can push. They realize you don't react the way they expect. Uncertainty creates psychological weight. But this doesn't mean you become arrogant or rude. It means you choose when to speak. If clarification brings strategy, speak. If silence brings advantage, stay silent. Stop explaining your goals. Stop explaining your standards. Stop explaining why you walked away. Stop explaining why you said no. No is a complete sentence. If someone cannot accept your boundary without a detailed report, they were never respecting you in the first place. Every unnecessary explanation is a small surrender of authority. You don't owe everyone access to your reasoning. You don't owe everyone a breakdown of your emotions. You don't owe everyone a defense of your priorities. Your life is not a public debate. The moment you internalize this, you become harder to move. There will be people who say, "You've changed." Yes, you have. You've stopped performing clarity for comfort. You've stopped defending decisions you've already made. You've stopped begging to be understood. And some people will feel uncomfortable. Let them. Because the version of you that needed to explain everything was easier to control. Now you are steady. You speak when it serves you. You stay silent when it strengthens you. You don't rush to correct narratives. You don't panic when judged. You understand that truth doesn't need noise. Strength doesn't need approval. And certainty doesn't need explanation. The strongest person in the room is not the one arguing the loudest. It's the one who has nothing to prove. Stop explaining yourself. Decide, act, and let the world adjust.